What's going on, everybody? It's the Indoor Hunter, and we find ourselves once again on Reventuli Coast. This time, however, we are not grinding for whitetail. We, of course, are going for the great one, moose. So far, the grind has gone pretty smoothly. I've definitely had to adjust setups a few times here and there, and that's pretty typical of a grind, especially when starting out. I still really need to hammer out exactly where all my need zones are. But for those of you that watch the stream know that I've got a couple diamonds on my map that I've been trying the stacking method on to really no results there. So I'm kind of getting tired of looking at them, and I think today we're going to go harvest them and see just what they score out as. And depending on when this video airs, the high power weapons pack may or may not be out yet, but in celebration and hype for that, we're going to be rocking the 338 championship today. Before we get really started on hunting those diamonds, I do want to go through a typical grind for me looks like. And actually, that's a pretty decent looking moose. That being said, let's start with these little guys first, and then we'll work our way around the lake, and we'll continue from there. Attempt a heart shot on this guy. Oh, of course he's going to start moving. Something that I have noticed with the 338, the bullet velocity is a little slow, so I do not like taking moving shots with it. Most of the other weapons I'm pretty confident and comfortable with doing that. There we go. They laid right next to each other. That's perfect. Luckily, I've got this set up in a spot where the spook distance isn't a factor whatsoever. As far as I understand it, they are changing that with this update coming out. So hopefully that's going to make grinding that much easier. Now what is strange is these guys spooked. They must have been much closer than I thought. Typically they stand over here, which is well outside of that 300 meter spook range, but it is what it is. Something that I've noticed with this grind is grinding for moose is much less efficient than it is for whitetail, and I think that's because moose, especially on Reventuli Coast, are completely widespread around the map. They're everywhere, whereas whitetail, we're kind of located, north, basically, at least in my experience. Anything north of these lakes or the middle of the map, they were basically located north of that. Granted, we had a few down here, but moose, on the other hand, they're everywhere, and so I've been very careful about finding all my need zones, but I've not been harvesting moose that are kind of out of the way where I don't want to have to keep checking, and that could be part of my problem. So I'm going to have to experiment, maybe harvesting a few from spots that I don't typically harvest moose from, which, that being said, one of my lakes up here is one of those spots. If it continues to be a good moose spot, I'm probably going to go ahead and rearrange some of the tents that I have that, while they do produce consistent moose, they're not big moose, and I haven't seen anything crazy yet. For example, I've got a lake up here. There's moose here, but it's just not the best spot, and sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. That can be conducive of not having all my need zones found. So I'm going to have to do that too. Like I said, we're really fresh into this moose grind. We're only 400 kills in. It's not a lot. Willow ptarmigan yelling at me. But I'm really hoping harvesting these, that'll kind of change something, because it has gotten kind of stale. We've only gotten one rare and no diamonds outside of the ones that are currently on the map. Our first diamond is actually located at this lake here. He usually hangs out in this need zone. Not going to go after him quite yet. I've got one up here that I've lovingly named Bruce. I don't actually think he's going to make diamond. I think he's going to end up trolling. He is a level 5 medium, but he's the one I'm kind of getting tired of seeing all the time. He's hanging out. He's kind of getting arrogant. He laughs at me every once in a while, and you know what? I've had enough of it, folks. That being said, his trophy score definitely edges more on the side of him being a troll. However, the other big guy down here, he's definitely a guaranteed diamond. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, so I'm pretty excited to get him in the trophy lodge. Now, the other night on stream, I had a foul shot made with the 338, and I had a moose run all the way around this lake, and it was not fun, so hopefully I'm not going to repeat that mistake this time around, and if I do, you guys aren't going to see it because I'll totally edit it out and make myself look way cooler than I am. That being said, there have typically been some pretty big moose over here. I don't think the last one that I harvested is quite back yet, because he's got a little friend here with him. I'm going to go ahead and harvest this guy. Luckily, that shot was a hard shot. He's down already. Something else that I've noticed too, I've really found the sweet spot to get double lung shots on moose. Makes it way easier to bring them down faster, because if you can't make that hard shot, I've noticed when a single long shot happens, these things still run forever, and it's kind of annoying actually. With the whitetail, 9 times out of 10, you're instantly dropping them where they stand, or they don't run very far, unless you're me, of course, and they, run 2 kilometers for whatever reason. But the moose, these things are like Terminator deer. They will run forever, and it really slows the grind down. That's why we're only at like 400 kills at this point, because even with a good shot, these things like to run far. And I've been really experimenting. I don't know if you guys have seen my video on soft points versus polymer tips, but I went somewhat in depth on what really is the best caliber and type of ammo to use on these things, and honestly it doesn't matter. These things are all but bulletproof. In my opinion, they're kind of harder to kill than water buffalo. They just don't like to die. That being said, I have found a method to shooting them double lung pretty consistently, and that seems to improve the quick kill bonus quite a bit. And then this spot here is one of those areas that, just because of where my moose zones are, it's really kind of inefficient to be at, but I don't want to move it either, because in the future, were I to do another whitetail grind, I feel like this is definitely the better whitetail spot than it is moose, and the way it currently stands, I don't want to adjust too much because of that, because I do plan on doing another whitetail grind in the future. Now obviously once we get the moose, I'm probably going to be taking a break from Reventilli for quite some time, because we have been staring at this map for 6 months straight now. I love the map, and maybe we'll play it not for the big game but for the small game, because it does provide a lot of opportunities for that. But boy, I'm kind of getting tired of it, and I really hope that we can get the great one sooner rather than later. Now we're going to let this guy stop. I don't know how quite... We did drop into long there. I don't know if you saw it on this guy here that I shot. He definitely went down pretty quickly. As you can see here, we did in fact get the double long with the 100% quick kill, which is pretty awesome. That means the moose died within 8 seconds, so it means he also didn't go very far. But if you notice, you can aim just below the spine there, you're probably going to get that double long. For whatever reason, doesn't matter which caliber you use, if you aim any lower than that, you're not getting the double long. You can see here that they're kind of concave and they meet towards the top, towards the spine. Now, I have run into the issue where I spine shoot them a lot, and they'll either run forever or they'll die instantly, in which case you ruin your vital organ hit. But at this point, I'm not really in it for the money, unless of course it's a diamond potential. Then I'm not going to take that shot. I'm going to go for the safe single long route, which we'll be doing on these other guys. Now that I've gone through and kind of showcased what a typical grind for me looks like, I've gone through again just kind of make sure nothing special has spawned in. Of course it hasn't, otherwise you'd be seeing it now. We're going to go ahead and do what everybody came here for, and that is harvest old Bruce here and the other diamond. And I think we are going to kind of practice with the longbow. I do plan on taking the Great One Moose with the longbow. Something I'm not too familiar with anybody else doing, so I kind of want to get some practice with it. I don't, if ever, really use the longbow. It's a pretty good bow. The reload speed on it's insane. It's got the same punch as any of the compounds. It's really good. Now, it is much more difficult to shoot because obviously there's no sights or anything like that, so that's where the practice part comes in. Now, this spot has traditionally been quite terrible, but we can see Bruce over there hanging out. He's currently calm. 245 to 299. Again, that score worries me. He doesn't have any sort of brow tines, but his palmation is very large. So let's go ahead and sneak around the lake and try to get a shot in on him. All right, so we're in position. He's somewhat calm back down. He's back down to nervous. Hopefully we'll return to calm soon. We're going to hit the call a couple times. We are hidden somewhat. And I'm hoping he comes right along the banks here. And we're going to get a hopefully decent shot. He's right along. He's in range here. Let's get ready. Oh, surely he can't see me. I'm not sure why he's alert. That lynx may have moved its location. Definitely don't want to shoot him with that. Let's see just how far he is here. Within 56 meters. Let's go ahead and zero for 60 and take the shot. Visually, it looked good. He is dropping in health. I'm hoping we get to see some vital organ blood. Although visually where you hit animals with the bow and where, things go down, it could be kind of weird. I've noticed sometimes where I've made accidental headshots and it seemed like a perfect heart shot like that. So we'll see here. We do have vital organ blood that we can just climb up into. Visually, that looks like a perfect shot. It's the moment of truth. I've been looking at you, Bruce, for quite some time. Let's see what you score out at. I hope you don't troll, but I do think you're going to. And he is a big old troll, which is unfortunate. That was almost a miss. How much did he troll by? As you can see there, diamonds 274. He scored out at 269. How unfortunate. That being said, though, we do have a guaranteed diamond that needs shot, so let's jump over. All right, we've closed the distance here. He's actually much closer than I expected him to be. That's him there. You can see 263 to 317. I don't think he's going to troll. I'm pretty sure he's guaranteed. He's fairly close. I'm hoping that we can continue to progress down this little river here to get a better position. Well, that happened. So I've tried countless approaches and everything on this guy, and for whatever reason, there may be a link somewhere nearby. I just don't know what's going on. He absolutely refuses to come into a call, so unfortunately, I think in this situation, we are going to go ahead and take him with a rifle, no matter how much I want to take him with the bow. At this point, I would just like to get him in the trophy lodge. Now, if we can just get him to turn back around, this is the problem a lot of the times from my other zones. When there's hunting pressure, they don't like to face me, and it's pretty aggravating to get him to turn back around. Again, he just does not want to pay attention to the call whatsoever. There we go. We got him finally turned back around. Take him down with a good heart shot there. Again, this may be my 5th or 6th attempt on getting him. I don't know how many times I came up through this river system trying to get him to call, and he would just stand his ground every single time, no matter what I did. He wouldn't commit to a call, and I couldn't get quite close enough to actually get within a safe bow distance. And to be honest with you guys, I just kind of got fed with it and decided to go ahead and just get this done and over with. That right there, though, is a big old dude. Let's see what he scores out at. He is a diamond. 285. Let's go ahead and taxidermy him before anything crazy happens. Perfect heart shot. And there's kind of a weird circle in the middle of the screen. I don't know if you guys can see that. I've never seen that before. It's a little strange. But again, I'm glad to have him. Let's go ahead and throw him into the Hall of Giants. We'll go ahead and throw this guy. We've got the great one here. We're going to go ahead and throw this on an empty plaque here. And hopefully, sooner rather than later, we can add the Great One Moose to this trophy lodge. That being said, I think it's going to do it for this video, and I'll see you on the next one.